The voices of Trinity 3 blended so seamlessly that people swore they had been singing together since birth. Raised in the same South Carolina church, Naomi, Tasha, and Joy were more than just a gospel trio. They were sisters in spirit. For years, they traveled the gospel circuit, harmonizing in churches, small-town festivals, and gospel showcases. They had talent, they had passion, but they didn't have hits. Then one day, everything changed. Their latest single, Higher Ground, exploded overnight. Within weeks, they were everywhere, playing packed venues, appearing on TV, and topping gospel charts. And for some reason, Joy, the least ambitious of the three, was suddenly writing songs that didn't just hit, they owned the charts. Naomi sat in the back of the tour bus, her Bible open, but her mind far from the verses on the page. Tasha sat across from her, flipping through the latest Rolling Stone interview featuring Joy. "Did you read this mess?" Tasha's voice was tight. Joy said she felt something different when she wrote Higher Ground, that it came to her in a dream. She tossed the magazine down. "Tell me I'm not crazy." Naomi sighed. "I know what you're thinking, Tasha." Tasha leaned forward. "That girl didn't just get better overnight. Those songs, that success, you really think it was just her talent?" Naomi pursed her lips, looking down at the cross necklace she always wore. "I don't know." "You don't want to know," Tasha snapped. "But I do." Tasha pulled out her phone and scrolled. "You remember Pastor Freeman's old sermon about how the devil don't want your money? He wants your influence?" Naomi stiffened. Tasha slid her phone across the table. On the screen was a video clip, grainy, shaky, like someone had filmed it on the sly. It was Joy, in a studio late at night, alone except for a man in a dark suit. He leaned in close, whispering something in her ear. Joy nodded, and then the man faded into shadow like he was never there. Naomi's stomach dropped. Tasha's voice was barely above a whisper. "She made a deal, Naomi." Naomi shook her head. "That's impossible." Tasha's jaw tightened. "Then ask her." The stage was blinding. Naomi stood center stage next to Joy without Tasha for the first time in years. A deafening crowd roared. Joy leaned close, smiling. "You made the right choice." Naomi gripped the microphone. The music started. She opened her mouth, and nothing came out. Her voice was gone. Joy turned, frowning. "Naomi?" The crowd murmured. She tried again. Nothing, not even a whisper. Joy's smile never faded. "Looks like you made the wrong choice after all." Naomi stumbled back, breath shaking, and then she ran off the stage, through the halls, out into the night, until the sounds of the concert faded behind her. It took Naomi a year to find herself again. She went back to small churches, back to singing in storefronts, this time for no one but God. And then one Sunday afternoon, as she stood in front of a small congregation leading worship, her eyes caught a familiar face sitting in the crowd. Tasha. Tasha looked hesitant, as if she didn't know if she belonged there. Naomi didn't hesitate. She motioned toward the microphone stand beside her. "Come up here, sis." The congregation looked on excitingly as Tasha slowly made her way to the stage, her eyes darting around like she wasn't sure if this was real. Naomi smiled. "Let's do this like we used to." The musicians picked up the tempo, and Naomi started singing an old Trinity 3 song, one they had written in the basement of Naomi's childhood home. Tasha hesitated for only a second before she opened her mouth, and the harmony fell into place like it had never left. By the second chorus, the entire church was on its feet, hands raised, tears streaming down their faces. By the bridge, Naomi and Tasha were locked in, their voices blending like no time had passed at all. By the end, Tasha stayed on stage, standing beside Naomi where she belonged. That night, they sat in Naomi's living room just like old times. The TV hummed in the background, but they barely paid attention. Tasha laughed, shaking her head. "You know, I never thought I'd be back here." Naomi smiled, sipping her tea. "Neither did I." Tasha ran a hand through her curls. "You think we could ever do this again? I mean, really do it? A new version of Trinity 3 ? Naomi exhaled. "I don't know." Just then, the TV caught their attention. A news anchor smiled brightly. And in music news, Joy Parker's latest single, Lift Me Up, has shattered records, debuting at #1 on the gospel, pop, and R&B charts and topping the global streaming platforms. Parker, who has transitioned into a multi-genre artist, credits her success to her beloved sisters, God, and the universe. Naomi stared at the screen, her stomach twisting. Tasha snorted. The universe? Naomi didn't answer. Instead, she reached for the remote and turned the TV off. Silence filled the room. Then Naomi turned to Tasha. We need a third, Tasha grinned. Let's make it right this time.